Hi, and welcome to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving, a podcast series by Tharaka Foundation. In last week's episode, Malavika, one of Tharaka's youth team members, and Marina Barnes, a wellness coach at Saratoga High School, discussed the introduction to mindful self-compassion. In today's episode, they will venture further into what mindful self-compassion really means and how to implement it in our day-to-day lives. So without further ado, take it away.
Hey guys! Welcome to another episode of Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving. It's Malavika here, back with wellness educator Marina Barnes from our last episode, and today we'll be going over a guided meditation that puts mindful self-compassion into practice.
Hi, Malavika. There's nothing like practice to get better at something, so thank you for giving me this opportunity to share a guided meditation here. Before we dive into the meditation, I'd like to talk a little bit about where this meditation comes from. It's from the Making Friends with Yourself, a mindful self-compassion program for teens that I teach. This curriculum was adapted by Dr. Karen Bluff and Lorraine Hobbs from the Adult Mindful Self-Compassion Program created by Dr. Kristen Neff and Dr. Chris Germer. The Making Friends with Yourself is an 8-week program that meets for 1.75 hours each week, and we take a look at topics such as self-criticism and safety, self-esteem versus self-compassion, strategies for working with difficult emotions, and the last week we end with gratitude, which is a nice way to end the program together. These topics are explored through activities, videos, guided meditations, and reflections. I find that most teens learn something about themselves in relation to these topics, but most importantly, the meetings have provided a safe space for teens to talk about their feelings and their struggles that they normally do not get a chance to talk about, sometimes not even with their friends.
That's so wonderful. And I've realized that even though I feel comfortable opening up to my closest friends, sometimes they might not always respond in the way we'd need or expect. Befriending yourself can be a great way to complement the support that you receive from your friends and family, or even to find much needed support that you might not receive from anywhere else.
That's absolutely so true, and that's been my experience with the teens that I've worked with. Okay, so let's dive into our practice now. I will be guiding us through a meditation called Loving Kindness for Someone You Care About, which is from week 3 of Making Friends with Yourself. I hope it will support us in finding some kind words we can tell ourselves, and over time, these kind words can become our default inner voice, overriding the harsh inner voice. So let's take a moment to move or stretch the body, getting out some kinks if there are any. And then finding a comfortable seated position that will support you in being present with your own experience. Letting your eyes gaze downward to meet the floor, or if you like, you may gently close them. Now, I invite you to bring your attention to the soles of the feet and notice if there are any sensations that might be present here. You may rest your attention in the soles of the feet, or if you like, bringing your attention to your breathing, simply noticing the feeling of breathing in and breathing out. Now, bringing to mind a living person you care about, or someone who naturally makes you smile, someone with whom you have a comfortable and easy relationship with, not necessarily a perfect relationship, because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship, but someone who brings a lightness to your heart when you think of them. This can be a child you know, a teacher, your grandparent, your pet, or a stuffed animal, whoever naturally brings happiness to your heart. Create a vivid image of this being in your mind, letting yourself feel what it's like to be in their presence and allowing yourself to enjoy their good company. Now, recognizing how this being wishes to be happy and free from struggles, just like you and every other being. I invite you to silently repeat these 3 phrases from yourself to this person or animal. I wish for you to be happy. I wish for you to feel loved. I wish for you to begin to accept yourself just as you are. I wish for you to be happy. I wish for you to feel loved. I wish for you to begin to accept yourself just as you are. When you notice that your mind has wandered, that's okay. Gently guide your attention back to the words or the image of the being you care about, savoring any warm feelings that may arise. And if there are not any, this is okay too. Now, adding yourself to your circle of warm wishes, creating an image of yourself in the present of this being you care about, visualizing you both together. I invite you to silently repeat these 3 phrases for the 2 of you. I wish for us to be happy. I wish for us to feel loved. I wish for us to begin to accept ourselves just as we are. I wish for us to be happy. I wish for us to feel loved. I wish for us to begin to accept ourselves just as we are. Now, letting go of the image of this being and letting the full focus of your attention rest directly on yourself. If you like, placing your hand over your heart or another supportive touch as a gentle reminder that you're bringing kind awareness to yourself by offering yourself these phrases. I wish to be happy. I wish to feel loved. I wish to begin to accept myself just as I am. I wish to be happy. I wish to feel loved. I wish to begin to accept myself just as I am. If you like, taking this moment to send any kind wish you'd like for yourself now. Finally, taking a few breaths and just resting quietly in your own body, accepting whatever your experience is exactly as it is. You may be feeling goodwill and compassion, or you may not. Whatever you're feeling or not feeling is absolutely okay. We're simply setting an intention to open our hearts and then see what happens. Whenever you're ready, I invite you to bring your attention back into our space here. So, Malvika, how was this meditation for you?
I thought when I began and I thought of a person and wished for them to be happy and loved, I thought it was pretty easy because I genuinely believed that they deserved those good things. And when the meditation transitioned to the both of us and then just me, it didn't really feel weird or I didn't feel guilty about wishing that for myself because I felt that in a sense like we both deserve those good things.
Yes, and I think your experience is very normal. As we talked about in our last episode, how much harder it is for most of us to be kinder to ourselves, kinder to others than to ourselves. So, this meditation is a tool that can help us over time get used to the idea that it's actually okay to be kind to ourselves.
That's so true, Marina. And to go off of that, we know that a positive mental and emotional environment is important to first learn to handle our emotions in a healthy way, and second, to channel the confidence and motivation to thrive in all sorts of contexts. I think the biggest step of starting mindful self compassion is learning that we need it. It is realistic to want to feel happy and healthy, and it is something that you can expect to have if you prioritize your well being. Many times we overcloud self care with other priorities like academics or extracurriculars, but work and success actually work hand in hand with self care and a healthy mind.
You have such a good point here, Malvika, and I will piggyback on this. When you're feeling good about yourself, you have more energy and motivation to get things done. A lot of my students tell me it is hard for them to be motivated about their schoolwork. Well, because when you're beating yourself up for not getting work done, you end up feeling really down. This is certainly not a good place to get excited about schoolwork. So, mindful self compassion can be a source of motivation for all of us.
Exactly. So now that we've learned this guided meditation exercise and discussed what it's like to practice mindful self compassion, we can wrap up our fifth episode of the self compassion series.
You are listening to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving, a podcast series by Tharaka Foundation. As part of our youth series, we will be releasing new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, so make sure to continue to check those out. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and thank you so much for listening.